Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the new flanker to the Libre family, the Eau de Toilette version, and I'm also going to be doing a comparison between the three and letting you guys know what the difference is, what the main difference is. So if you'd like to know what I think, then keep watching. Transparency purposes, I purchased every single one of these. These were not sent to me to review, and this is a line that I really love. Now, I do not have a review of Libre Intense, but I do have a review of the original. So I'm going to be linking that below if you would like to check that out. The other reason why I wanted to do this video is because with flankers where there's a difference in concentration or little tweaks, sometimes flankers are creative takes on a fragrance. You see that more with like Terry Mugler with the Angel flankers and the Amen flankers and the Alien flankers. There's something vastly different, creative, and a lot of liberties are taken, but at the core you can still get the DNA of the OG. And when you see flankers that are the same family, but they start off with different concentrations, what you're looking at is a slight difference in the formula and a slight difference in the notes to kind of evoke the feeling that each of these fragrances are supposed to have. But to their core, I would hope that they would smell very similar. So I like to do these difference videos to talk about which one might work best for you guys, because in situations like this where a lot of them smell dang close, you might decide that you don't need all three, and you really don't. So if you're deciding between one of the three or two of the three, hopefully this video will be a bit of a resource. Anyway, enough of my chatting, let's get to the actual review. Libre Eau de Toilette was released in 2021, so as of reviewing this fragrance this year, this is a lighter, fresher, and in my opinion, a more modern take on the previous Libre fragrances. The main addition to this fragrance, or the main note or feeling or chord that makes this one stand out above the others, has to be the white tea or the jasmine tea note. The addition of tea really makes this fragrance smell fresher, lighter, and more modern. I wouldn't say that Libre in and of itself is a modern composition. I also wouldn't say that it's a classic, mature composition. I find the original to be a little bit soapy, light, refreshing, and the lavender, in my opinion, takes it from the soapy, clean fragrance and elevates it to a beautiful, clean, fresh, slightly powdery, beautifully floral, sophisticated scent. I love Libre, and I love the other fragrances. So if you do not like Libre, then you probably won't like this review, because I'm talking about it in a very positive light because I just generally like the way that it smells. What the Eau de Toilette does is it takes that fresh cleanness and makes it more modern, more sparkly, more fresh, more invigorating because of that jasmine tea note. And that jasmine note, that tea note, these white florals, specifically the orange blossom, really works well with the musks and the florals and the beautiful sparkly citruses, and creates something that's very feminine, that's very youthful, but still semi-timeless. What I like about the DNA of the Libre fragrances is, in my opinion, they smell like a great introductory into more mature compositions. If you're unsure if you want to start delving into the Shalimars or touching into the opiums, but you want to see how you feel with a different, more complex composition, but something that's still modern and wearable for people who like more modern perfumery and minimalism, I think that the Libre line is fantastic. And I think that Eau de Toilette, specifically with this tea note, makes it fresher and lighter. The white tea freshens it up and makes it more minimalistic and modern, but it kind of tones down the composition. That makes it more wearable, especially for summertime and springtime if you live in hot environments, but it can take away some of the beauty and the complexity and the nuances that the original and the Intense have. So what I like to say is if you like those very fresh, light, modern, feminine fragrances, the Eau de Toilette's a beautiful fragrance. It has that little touch of powder in there, the beautiful lavender, the gorgeous florals, but that white tea really freshens and modernizes it in a lot of cases, in all cases. That's what I think. I'm sorry, it's been a day. And there's just something about the way that it smells on the skin that's really nice. But if you crave that mature complexity, that beautiful sophistication, I would say probably go with one of the other two. At the end of the day, it's a beautiful scent and I do really enjoy it, but I find that there's differences with all of these, and that's what we're gonna get into. So what's the difference? Well, the biggest difference has to be with the overall tone of the scent. So what I like about these fragrances is that if you were to blind smell any of them, you would say, that smells like Libre. And that's what I look for when we look for kind of more concentration differences. With any concentration difference, or most times, there is going to be a formula change in regards to different notes. If they're making an intense fragrance, they probably want it to be more mature, more sexy, more sensual. Lighter fragrances, they want to invoke light, so they might change some of the notes to also kind of help make that feeling, that olfactive smell, rather than be more apparent and be more smell, rather than just changing the concentration from like 12 to 15%. It really depends on the nose, the house, and the general idea of what they want for this line and this family of fragrances. I always like to say the best example of concentration changes where they have different notes, but it does smell within the same family is Dior Sauvage, and a great example of not doing their job is the new Dylan Turquoise. That does not smell anything like Dylan Blue. And to be perfectly honest, when you have creative fragrances where the flankers are supposed to be creative, unique, fun takes on the original, a la Thierry Mugler, you still, in most cases, have that DNA in there. And in Dylan Turquoise, you don't have any of it. So with concentration changes, I do want to see and smell to the core the DNA of the scent. I want to close my eyes and think to myself, that's a nice version of Libre. And I think that Saint Laurent has done a beautiful job at really creating a great family of scents that smell dang close. Now, the first one I fell in love with, I really enjoy the scent. It smells like a very expensive bath soap, something you would buy from Saks for probably $50. I'm talking about a super luxury high-end bath soap, something that you probably shouldn't spend that much money on a bath product, like, you know, shower gel or something. But the reason why I mention that is because a lot of times those soaps, those shampoos, those products, they have very real fragrance formulas in them. It's not like they're just going to this warehouse and picking these scents, like blind buying or like wholesaling these fragrances. They have noses who create these fragrances or these scents for these products. And so the higher end ones have more of a budget to create a more luxurious experience with these products. And what I like is that experience, that olfactive experience that some people kind of dismiss as being a fragrance. Those bath products have a lot, they go through a lot of different edits to get the right scent, and that clean, fresh, luxurious experience, I think, smells gorgeous. It's very complimentary, it's very attractive, and there's something about it that just kind of makes you feel special. Like when I use that right shampoo or that right body lotion, I smell good. I think I smell amazing. So Libre to me has that feeling because of the flowers. It's musky, it's slightly powdery in the opening, but when the lavender comes in, lavender is such a common note in a lot of these different products, be it food or bath or fragrance or beauty. It's such a fantastic note, and it can go a lot of different ways. It can smell aromatic, it can smell like food, it can smell sweet, and I like how it's used kind of like vanilla or musks or specific woods to really tie a lot of notes in together and to really elevate a composition. And I think it's the winning note in all of these fragrances, specifically in the original Libre. It really takes this composition of these beautiful musks and florals and citruses and makes it something special, but very wearable and very beautiful. This is a mature fragrance, but it's a mature fragrance for anybody. It's sophisticated, it's gorgeous, but it's still fresh, and I really enjoy it on the skin. It's really beautiful. Now, there might be a few notes in this composition that you don't like. Maybe the florals are too harsh, maybe it's too sparkly, maybe it's too powdery. Then you want to go into something that's maybe smells a little bit richer, more sexual and more sexy. that's where we're going into intense. Now, I have not reviewed this fragrance. I will review this because I do think this deserves a review on my channel. I know a lot of people have reviewed it, so definitely check those reviews out. But there's something about intense that I find to be really beautiful. The ambergris in this and the vanilla in this is more predominant, and I find that kind of sexy slight saltiness with the beautiful florals and the additions of these different florals. There's orchid in here added to the other white flowers, and orchid is such a sexy note, sexy flower in fragrances. It's just, there's something about it that's kind of salacious. I really like it. And it kind of kicks this fragrance up a notch and makes this smell more femme fatale, in my opinion. Like the type of woman that would walk in during like one of those like old noir movies and try and hire a private eye to find her missing ex-husband. This kind of smells like what she would smell when she first came in, before you realize she was actually the killer. And I love it because it has a timeless sophistication to it. It has a little bit of a sexy edge from that orchid, which I think it's smart that it's orchid because it works with the other flowers and it works really well with the lavender, and it comes together to create something a little bit smokier, a little bit richer, a little bit more floral, a little bit more va-va-voom, but still has that beautiful Libre DNA of that slight freshness, and I really like that. Then we're going back into the Eau de Toilette. And this to me feels like the opposite version of Libre in regards to the tea note is fresher and lighter and more modern and more youthful. And I do enjoy that a lot. Now, I just reviewed it, so I'm not going to go too much into it like the others, but I do like that it is more a daytime, more spring, summertime version of these scents. So I've kind of explained my opinion. Now remember, this is my opinion. Just because I think this doesn't mean that everyone's going to agree, and that's totally fine. Which one of these is the better and which one of these should you? I think that first thing is going to completely depend on where you live. Now, because these smell so close to each other, not identical, you could get all three, but I don't think it's necessary. I think in an extravagant case, you could get two. And I think that if you were going to get two, I would go with the Eau de Toilette and the Intense personally, because I think that these are such on opposite ends of each other, you're really going to get the most bang for your buck. I think if you got this one and this one, it would be too similar, so just get one or the other. The same with this, just my personal opinion. The biggest issue for me in regards to how these fragrances smell has to do with the lavender note. The lavender note to me really wins it over in every single one of these. It really ties it together. If you do not like lavender, if you do not like powdery fragrances, but you like Libre, or you've smelled it in passing on somebody else and you enjoyed it, you don't like lavender too much, you're not super into powdery fragrances, I would go with Intense. The reason why is this is richer. The addition of other florals kind of overpowers the more powdery, and it becomes more sexy and sultry and smoky, just a little bit. And I think that if you like those types of fragrances, if you're more of a fan of black opium and you want to try Libre, go with Intense. If you like those sexy nighttime, very flirtatious fragrances. If you're more of a fan of Mon Paris, I would say go for the Eau de Toilette. It's a lot fruity, but the tea makes it more modern, more youthful, more playful, and that kind of mimics Mon Paris' kind of like effortless cheer that I enjoy. I love Mon Paris and all of its fantastic flankers. I think I have them all. There's something that smells like a women's fragrance counter in the most possible positive way. It really is just gorgeous. There's a feast of fruits. It's dazzling, it's youthful, it's playful, it's flirty. And if you like those types of fragrances and you kind of want to venture a little bit into more mature compositions, I think that the additional tea note in here will make it a great transition into more classic compositions. And I'm not saying this smells like Chanel No. 5 or opium, but you're starting to get into more complex notes with the additions of like lavender and powders and specific florals and less fruits. And that really is going to start segueing you into understanding more challenging compositions. Now, I'm not saying these fragrances are challenging, they're not. But if you're the type of person that likes more classic compositions, I think you would enjoy the original Libre, personally. I like how it smells clean, I like how it smells fresh. I love that the fruits in here, the black currant is just so kind of tart but still fruity. Works with the florals beautifully. It smells fresh, but it still has this beautiful slight elegance to it from that powdery note. And again, the white florals in here and the lavender are just stunning. So if you're more of a fan of fragrances like Chanel No. 5, or if you like more classic chypres and you're looking for something that you can wear more regularly around people that maybe don't like or can't handle those classic compositions, I think this is the best version personally. The other thing too is because these all kind of smell similar, you can spray them on strips, you can get a sample of them, put them on your skin and see which one of these works best with your body chemistry as well. You might find a particular note or a particular concentration smells completely off than the others, so that might be the deciding factor too. You might decide that the orchid is a little bit too strong in the intense, but you love the way the tea smells on your skin and performs with the Eau de Toilette. It's really going to depend on your body chemistry. Now, the other nice thing about these fragrances is because they're designer fragrances and because Saint Laurent is such a sought after and popular designer house, you can really go out and try these if you are feeling comfortable going to a fragrance counter or like Sephora or Ulta. They should have these guys out for you to either get samples of or spray them on strips or try it on your skin. So you can go out and you can sample these first before you purchase. I definitely always recommend trying on your skin if possible before you make a purchase. Don't purchase blind. And if you do purchase blind, buy someplace where you have a great return policy. But at the end of the day, I think these Libre fragrances are gorgeous. I am a fan of the line and I'm really enjoying the Eau de Toilette. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was on the longer side, but I really kind of wanted to get into all three of these fragrances. So if you guys have tried these scents, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, let me know in the comment section below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.